There is a staggering alignment unfolding in the Middle East. Why is it that in the era of artificial intelligence and nuclear weapons, the only compass to decode today's chaos lies within an ancient script from 2,400 years ago? The world is becoming safer for every human being on Earth, but not because of political accords or standard military strategy. A profound miracle is quietly taking shape right before our eyes. To view this conflict merely through the lens of news reports is to miss the truth entirely. This isn't just politics, it is providence. Consider this. Consider the mirror of history. This week, as we observe the festival of Purim, we are not merely looking back at a dusty scroll, we are looking into a mirror. 2,400 years ago, in the vast heart of the Persian Empire, a man named Haman rose to power. He did not seek a border dispute. He did not seek a political compromise. He sought a total holocaust. He issued a decree that echoed across the provinces, to destroy, to slay, and to exterminate all the Jews, young and old, women and children, in a single day. How can it be a coincidence that today, from that very same geographic land, modern-day Iran, a regime has risen with the exact same policy? The parallels are chilling. They have constructed a ring of fire designed to strangle the Jewish state. They have armed Hamas in the south. They have entrenched Hezbollah in the north. They have mobilized the Houthis in the west. They have encircled Israel with tens of thousands of missiles, waiting for a single moment to finish what Haman started. Their goal was clear: to leave Israel isolated, a tiny nation standing alone against a global jihad, facing an existential threat that the world preferred to ignore. But why has this ancient plot failed once again? To understand this, we must look at something deeper than military strategy or iron domes. We must look at what we call narrative resilience. Why does a people survive for thousands of years against every attempt at genocide? It is because we have turned memory into a weapon. Every year for over 2 millennia, we repeat the story of Esther. We teach our children that in every generation, a Haman will rise to destroy us. And in every generation, through faith and courage, we will prevail. This is not just a religious ritual. It is a psychological immune system. When the horrors of October 7th struck, the world expected Israel to fracture. And they expected us to disappear into the darkness of trauma and defeat. But they forgot our narrative. Because we have lived through the Book of Esther every single year, our collective soul did not see a new tragedy. It recognized an old pattern. We did not see a dead end. We saw a prologue to a miracle. Our memory of the past gave us the blueprint for our resilience in the present. We were not victims of a surprise. We were the protagonists of a story we already knew the ending to. So too now, the ring of fire is being dismantled. The isolation is being broken. The memory of Purim has once again become the shield of a nation. Consider this as we look at the miracles unfolding today. Consider the darkness that began to close in. It was a ring of fire, tightened by the hands of those who hate civilization. In the south, the butchers of Hamas. In the north, the massive arsenal of Hezbollah. In the west, the pirates of the Houthis. All of them fueled by the same jihadi bloodlust. All of them guided by the same murderous regime in Tehran. They didn't just build proxy armies. They built the ultimate threat. They relentlessly pursued nuclear capability. They stockpiled long-range ballistic missiles. They positioned their terror cells in every major capital. The strategy was clear: to suffocate the Jewish state until not a single breath remained. We reached the 89th minute. Everything felt like it was on the brink of collapse. The world's media turned hostile. The United Nations became a weapon of harassment. In London, in Paris, in Washington, the streets were filled with those supporting the very terror that sought our end. It was the darkest hour. It was a moment where the survival of the Jews, and indeed the survival of the West, seemed to hang by a single, fraying thread. But in their overconfidence, the wicked forgot one thing. They were not just plotting against a nation. They were plotting against the hand of God. In their arrogance, they were finally writing the script for their own downfall. But then, the tide turned. In an instant, the ring of fire began to incinerate from within. Consider the systematic dismantling of the wicked, the pager attacks, the precision operations deep within enemy territory, the elimination of senior commanders, one by one, until the very head of the serpent was struck. These were not just military successes. They were signs of a shifting tide. And then consider the moment that stopped the world's heart. A bullet fired in Butler, Pennsylvania. A bullet that narrowly missed its mark by a fraction of an inch. But consider exactly where it hit. The right ear. How can that be a coincidence? Why the ear? In the Jewish tradition, for thousands of years, we have marked the downfall of our enemies by eating Haman's ears. To our scholars, the ear is the symbol of the arrogant who refuse to listen to the divine will. It is the final mark of those whose plots are about to be overturned. But there is a deeper layer. In the Hebrew Bible, the right ear is the place where the priests were anointed. It is the site of consecration and divine protection. That a leader's life was spared by a hair's breadth, specifically on the ear, at the very moment the ancient drama of Persia began to repeat in our time. This is a thunderous reminder from history. It is a fingerprint of God on the canvas of the modern world. The ear is not just for hearing. In this moment, it is a monument. It is a sign that the hand of Providence reached out, tilted ahead, and signaled to the world. The script of the enemy is being torn up. This was the moment the dark clouds began to break. This was the moment the modern Purim miracle became visible to anyone with eyes to see. Many people look at these events and call them luck. They see a failed assassination, a technical glitch in a terror network, or a sudden political shift and call it good fortune. To view history this way is a mistake. Why does God no longer part the Red Sea? Why do we not see pillars of fire or lightning from heaven? It is because of the mystery of Hester Panim, the hidden face. Consider the Book of Esther. It is the only book in the entire Bible where the name of God does not appear a single time. Yet his fingerprints are on every page. His presence is found in the gaps. His hand is in every accident. This is the miracle of our modern age. It is a miracle that wears the mask of chance. It does not break the laws of physics. It weaves through the threads of probability. We must learn to read the news reports not as a list of random tragedies, but as a divine cipher. Look at the timing. Look at the precision. Look at how the most powerful regimes on earth are upended by the smallest, most random details. This is God signing his name in the ledger of history. When you stop looking for the spectacular, you begin to see the extraordinary. Every staggering alignment is a message. Every impossible turn is a signature. And now is the time to open our eyes and realize there is no such thing as a coincidence. There is only a plan so vast, so precise, that it takes a faithful heart to recognize it. We are not watching chaos. We are watching a masterpiece being unveiled, one coincidence at a time. As we witness these modern-day miracles, a painful question remains. What of the innocent lives caught in the crossfire? What of the suffering in Gaza? To speak of victory without a heavy heart would be a mistake. Our faith teaches us that even in the moment of greatest triumph, we must never lose our humanity. Consider the ancient tradition of the Red Sea. When the Egyptian army, the very force that had enslaved the Jews, was being swallowed by the waters, the angels in heaven began to sing a song of victory. But God stopped them. He rebuked them, was saying, "The works of my hands are drowning in the sea, and you want to sing?" This is the divine standard of justice. We fight because we must. We defeat evil because the survival of civilization depends on it. We dismantle the ring of fire because it is a necessity for peace. But we do not rejoice in the suffering of the work of his hands. We do not celebrate the tears of a mother, regardless of her nation. We do not forget that every person is created in the image of the Almighty. The miracle of Purim is not a miracle of destruction. It is a miracle of prevention. It is the prevention of a greater Holocaust, the prevention of a nuclear catastrophe that would have claimed millions more. Justice without compassion is not the justice of the God of Israel. We fight with the resolve of Mordecai, but we must keep the heart of Esther, a heart that risked everything not out of hatred, but out of a profound love for life itself. We look forward to the day when swords shall be beaten into plowshares, and no one shall have to fear their neighbor again. History has a final verdict for those who rise to destroy civilization. They fail. They surely fall. The Babylonians, the Romans, the Nazis, they all had their moment of bloodlust, and they all collapsed into the dust of history. So too now. But this victory is not just about the fall of a regime, it is about the rise of a people. I speak now to the people of Iran, the true children of Cyrus the Great. We remember. We have never forgotten that it was your king who freed us from Babylon and helped us rebuild our holy temple. The Persia we honor is a land of wisdom and dignity, not a dark exporter of jihad. The ring of fire is breaking. The tyrants who hold you hostage are unraveling. This is not your defeat. It is the beginning of your liberation. Just as Esther stood against Haman, your resilience is the key. A new Purim is coming, a time when Jews and Persians will once again stand together as brothers. The true Persia is returning. Now is the time to look beyond the headlines. Do not merely watch the news. Observe the world with the eyes of faith. We are living in biblical times. Each of us is called to be an Esther or a Mordecai in our own lives. Stand with courage. Stand with truth. Stand with the light. Let us open our eyes to the miracles happening right before us. Let us be brave. Let us be faithful. And together let us secure a brighter, more resilient future for all humankind.